Hey, it's Nina.
And Ashley back with the bullshit.
And this is the Young and Getting It podcast. Just so you guys know, you can find us on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. Just search Young and Getting It podcast. There's no G at the end of getting because we are millennials. So let's slang it out. Please subscribe on there, rate and review. We appreciate that. The views are going up, so we appreciate y'all coming from all over the nation. It makes me feel so happy. We see y'all.
Apparently, San Francisco was lit last week.
Okay,
because that's where our listens came from.
Oh, fantastic. I love that. Also, you can find us on soundcloud.com/WERKaholics. Please follow us on there. Comment. We see those comments on there. Thank you for also follow us. We see those follows on there.
Mm-hmm.
We're also on YouTube. Search Young and Getting It podcast. No G at the end of getting. You'll see our YG logo and a little cartoon version of us on our page. You can watch all of our interviews and, Breakfast Club style because, we're going to be on their level one day, so might as well. We're also on Google Play. We're also on Stitcher. We're also on Pocket Casts.
And you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at YAGI_podcast. And we also have our website, www.weareYAGIP.com. And then if you would like to contact us with questions, comments, no concerns, because we don't care, you can email us at ashleyandninapod@gmail.com. Or you could text us at our Google Voice number, which is 323-486-3811. And I also failed y'all again because I never checked it.
We're busy. We'll get to it.
Yes. And today we have a guest with us. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, this is Koereyelle, putting the work in Workaholic. And of course, that's a work with an E.
Yes.
All about dedicating that effort and energy to your own dreams. So an author, serial entrepreneur, and educator, managed to turn my $32,000 teaching salary into a six-figure brand. And I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. So as you can tell.
Inspirational.
Thank you.
Trajectory is up. We can
Thank
learn
you.
something from people like this. So listening, guys.
Exactly.
So since we're doing a collab episode, we're just going to talk about like random topics that impact us and matter to us.
As
And
black women.
we're in Atlanta. Oh
ATL,
my God.
shawty, yes.
A-Town, we stay down. That's what I was
Yes.
saying in the car. I was like, oh my God, I can say it.
And we've never been to Atlanta before.
First
so it's our first time, our
time.
second day. And this is great. And it's beautiful.
It's
And
really pretty.
I see why people live here very easily.
Because I'm the opposite. I always find it crazy when people from LA come out here. I'm like, why would
really?
you ever
Nah.
leave?
LA trash.
LA is wild. It's
No.
just the traffic. I mean, the traffic is very similar. So
Yeah,
we're
I'm
not
about
even
to say.
we're not thrown off at all by that. But it's like there's a lot more greenery. Like we see more people, even though people do exercise outside, we do see more normal streets people exercising because I'm like the air is probably better. Like
You
I'm not
actually have
choking on the
oxygen,
street.
not smog.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Like I haven't seen anything I don't like yet. And we have the stereotype thinking that as soon as we drove into Atlanta, it would be like all black
Ratchet.
people. But it's like it's not all black people.
Okay,
it's
well,
like,
first of all, it is. I don't know where y'all have been hanging out.
where have we been? Like
We went to the gentrified area. That's
y'all
why.
went to Ponce City Market.
Yeah.
Anybody listening to this, they went to Ponce City Market. So,
Oh,
Well,
now
and
we
they're
know.
staying in Perimeter. So they definitely have
gentrified
not
in the
gotten
white
it.
areas?
Yes, you
Yeah.
definitely are. They have not gotten the true experience.
Damn.
okay. Can you tell us where we
Yes.
need to go? We're gonna go to
We're in the Onyx tonight.
we're in the Onyx
Okay,
Strip Club
Black
tonight.
Experience.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
And we wanted to go to Compound tomorrow.
Okay, Black Experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And
What
y'all are
about
here for
Oak?
Afropunk? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then our friend OJ mentioned Oak, but
That's probably something like reinvented, some club that already existed that they
okay.
just put another
Okay.
name. I'm not familiar, but wherever it is, it'll be a Black experience.
Cool.
That's the thing about
Okay.
Atlanta. It's not, we don't have a diverse party scene. So you go out, it's going to be a Black party
well,
wherever
that's
you go.
awesome.
Okay.
It is. I
Yeah.
do love that about Atlanta. It's definitely like culture shock when I travel to other cities because everything is so integrated. Whereas Atlanta, it's not at all. There might be like the Asian night on Friday, but then the next night it's like the Black night. So
So we just went to
Went
the
to the
y'all
wrong
right
just
part.
area.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
I knew it.
No
I
diss to
knew
white
it.
people, but
There
I'm
was
trying
too
to go
many
to the
people
black
outside jogging. Like,
Yes.
Okay. Felt too safe.
yeah.
But what other places would you recommend to go to in Atlanta? Because I actually am going to write these down.
Well, for food or hanging out or
Like
anything?
lounges or bars, not necessarily clubs because we're not super into
Okay.
clubs. But if they end up dancing, it's like obviously it happens.
What's 2 Chainz' little bar called?
Oh, he has a
yeah,
bar.
he has a bar on Peter Street.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
Write that down because I can't think of the name of it right now. Escobar. That's what it's called. Escobar.
Our engineer's name is
Somebody let me-
Escobar. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
So Escobar is cool. Sweet Lounge is pretty cool. K Michelle has that Puffs and Pedals. I've never been, but
Oh,
I heard
yeah.
it's cool.
It's
What-
like a hookah lounge.
Yes.
Oh my
Okay.
God, yeah.
So I heard that's pretty dope.
Hopefully
She
they
lives
have
out
good
here?
ventilation.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I can't Michelle
she's
about
living
her.
hip hop Atlanta.
Yes. Yes.
Puffs and pedals.
I gotta think of some more places because I'm super lame.
So are we. It's okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't.
We just work, and
then
that's
we
it.
ask people where should we go.
And
Yeah, there's stuff going on, this weekend, and it's like
Yeah.
Clark's homecoming. There's always, there's
oh,
tons of stuff going on.
wow.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
intense.
Are people from outside able to go to homecoming things like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, they like because the one they have over with like Brown and all that stuff. People
Okay.
be going to that.
How we get
Yeah, it's
inside?
open to the
Yeah.
public.
Oh my God, that'll be fun. I've never seen like a black band in
HBCU.
person. Yeah.
Mhm.
Have I ever? I don't think I've ever been to an HBCU.
I'm trying to think.
Y'all are missing out on life.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents kind of screwed me over
Mhm.
with the schools they recommended
Yeah.
because I was like the only black person at both of my
Yeah.
universities.
Yeah, I went to a school that had more black people than her, but it's still like it's not the same experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tennessee State definitely made me feel like I could do anything under the
Oh, wow.
sun. Just seeing black people in every position
Mhm.
of power. Like the leadership, the exam. It was beautiful. So anybody listening, HBCUs are the way to
That's
go.
where it's at.
No shade, even though it's subtle shade. No shade, but the environment, like there's no other place other than maybe Atlanta that you can see like black
Mhm.
people in every position of power just
Yeah.
doing it. So
We don't see that.
See, and the thing is, I really sold myself short because I didn't even apply. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck it.
Yeah, I didn't apply.
but that's why I'm even saying it, because I feel like our generation didn't promote it as
No.
heavy as
Yeah.
or our parents didn't
Yeah.
promote it as heavy as they should have, and so now I feel like it's on us to show the greatness that you don't have to go to Harvard. You can do Howard. You
Yeah.
can
Right.
still get that same degree with
Yeah.
that same backing and have such an amazing experience with your own people. So
Oh my God. It's like the only opportunity I would ever have at this point is to get my PhD at a black
And it wouldn't be
university.
the same.
It's not the
My
same.
age-
It wouldn't be
yeah,
the
it's
same.
not the
Just go get a
same.
bachelor's again. Shit, I don't know.
move to Atlanta. Just move to Atlanta. You can have
Yeah,
an HBCU
I want.
experience.
The funny thing is, we're going to Houston on Monday just for a couple days just to check out Houston, and
Yeah.
it's like we've just been toggling like, if we're gonna move, where are we
Where?
gonna go? Because
Yeah.
we did not like New York. Like on top of the prices, we would
It's
never
love
move
it or
out
hate
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
And then partially though with New York though, we stayed in the wrong place. We stayed in fucking Manhattan. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we weren't gonna ever
We're
like
gonna have the
being in
experience.
Manhattan.
yeah.
Yeah.
But even when we were driving through other places, we were like, no.
No. Yeah, I don't like New York personally.
Yeah.
Not
It's
for me.
very crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
And it's
like-
a different lifestyle. It's like
Mhm.
totally different.
It's more fast paced in Los Angeles, and we live outside of Los Angeles, an hour outside. So where we live is just suburban,
Mhm.
calm,
Boring.
quiet streets. Like it's just calm and quiet, and nothing's going on. So it's like,
yeah,
that
that
was
would
a
be
complete
culture
option.
shock. It would
Yeah.
be culture shock. But if you want your edges laid, Houston is not the place to go.
I know
At all, not even for a moment. Like it is
Damn.
great. I mean, I could not live in Houston for that reason because I don't know how my hair would survive.
Oh yeah.
Said if
And
you
like
were
I'm
sick.
curly too, so it just be
That
afro.
it's like a different type. It's disrespectful. I'm telling you.
Have you been to Louisiana? Is it like Louisiana?
I don't. It's worse than any place I've
Worse?
ever been, and I've been places.
Oh
And it's
my God,
bad.
Louisiana was horrible.
It's bad.
How do you
let me know?
feel?
It's close though. They're
It's
like
close?
next door neighbors, so
Okay.
I
Oh,
imagine
okay.
it's
It'd be
pretty
the
similar.
same.
Yeah.
How do you feel about? Have you been in like California when it's like burning hot, like
Like
114?
midsummer, August.
We hit 120.
I
this
don't think
summer.
so. I don't know.
Oh man,
shit.
because I was
I
wondering
feel like it was hot as hell at Coachella. I feel like that was
Oh,
hot.
you went to Coachella? Yeah,
Yeah.
girl, you got burnt up.
I
You
was
went
about to say,
to
that
Palm
was pretty
Springs?
hot. Yeah, that was hot.
Was
You was
it
burnt
hot
up.
this year?
It was
I felt
definitely.
hot.
What weekend you go?
Second weekend.
You was hot.
Yeah, it was hot. I'm like, it felt hot to me.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
definitely hot.
that is the heat that we have to deal with minus all that dirt.
Yeah,
but
Palm
Yeah.
Springs is a different beast though. Like,
Yeah,
well,
that's a whole
Coachella
other-
Valley is
yeah.
desert.
That's
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
bad, but we made it.
Alright.
We made it do what it do.
Yeah, of course.
How do you feel about? I don't want to even talk about this for a long time, but how do you feel about Kavanaugh
I don't.
getting?
You know,
I don't feel, and that's my advice to all of us. Let's just stop feeling about things that are
Right.
really not.
out of our control.
They're out of our
clearly.
control, and they're affecting us on such a high level that there's so much other shit for us to focus on. That's how I
Right.
feel when
Yeah.
people talk about like Kanye and his craziness, I'm like, what about Flint? You know, like, what
Right.
are
Aren't
we
they
really
still
talking
struggling?
about? They're still Elon Musk like just wrote them a check, I think, after
$500,000,
all of this
yeah.
time. You know, thank God somebody finally did it, but that's who had to do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like Flint is full of
He trying to
our
get his brownie
people, and none of
points.
our people are supporting. So if we're gonna talk about things, like, let's
It's-
just
But Elon Musk
make
is
it
the
matter.
third most richest person in the United States.
But
it's like at the same time, Jeff Bezos, who has 155.3
He ain't doing
billion, because we
shit.
just looked that up on our last episode. It's like we were talking about, like, these guys can take just 1 billion out, just 1 billion, because you have 155 billion, and like just drop it in a place that really needs it.
listen. If they just did like a fundraiser
Right.
at one of these award shows or Met galas, or you know, where they have all of these billions of dollars in one
Right.
room,
Yeah.
we could have had something. But the fact that that's just okay and that we're just not talking about it,
and
is
it's also
like-
because it's black people.
exactly
They're
nobody's worried
not gonna
about it.
care.
Yeah, nobody's concerned.
Like, and
Yeah.
with Elon Musk just writing that check, I feel like he's just trying to get his brownie points back up because he smoked weed on camera, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, his stock started crashing
Really?
after he did that."
Tesla
yes,
started going down?
yes,
Shit, I never bought it
right
'cause
after.
Tesla's
I never
cheap.
bought that shit either, but his stock started going down after he smoked weed on camera. So I feel like he's just trying to get back in good. Like he probably
Well,
doesn't even
hopefully it
care.
helps.
It'll help, but
Lord, hopefully
They said, but it's,
Like, any
this is
type of
only
help.
for schools. So K through 12, it's like a filtration system.
okay.
But it's good
But
because I
they'll
think
be at
I believe he
home.
covered every school in that region that's struggling. But
Yeah.
who knows? Because if you probably go into the facts, there's probably schools on the outside regions that
That's
still have
not-
that
Are
dirty ass
suffering.
water.
yeah,
because how long has it been? It's literally been years,
2014.
Yeah, it's crazy.
and it's
Think
still
about
an
the
issue.
effects, though, like the long-term effects that it's gonna have on people.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And even the people who aren't showing signs of like skin peeling and sicknesses,
They're probably still
getting
sick.
it.
Yeah.
It's in the soil. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like it's probably
there.
in the air.
Yeah.
You know how chemicals work. It's
Mhm.
gonna come through, you know, so they're still gonna be affected by it. It's like a nuclear bomb. I don't remember who we were with, but a long time ago, someone said to me, "Black people are so distracted." So when you said that, because I wrote that down on my phone when
True.
they said that,
Yeah.
it's like, what things do you think are distracting Black people? I know it's
Money.
material things.
Money.
Yeah, money, Instagram, social
Instagram.
media, the media, not just social media, the media. Because if it's not our generation being infatuated with like the shade room, which this is no shade, because I like, that's my guilty pleasure, reading the shade room
Right.
comments.
It's hilarious.
So I'm not, you know, being judgy, but if it's not us being consumed with that, it's like our parents being consumed with what the news is putting out, you know,
Yeah.
and that's just as phony as, or not even necessarily as phony, but it's being positioned in the way that they want us to digest it versus
True.
really
Exactly.
showing the facts. So
Right.
you're getting the story that they want you to get, and then you're buying into that, and then you're getting all riled up, and then that's ruining your real life day
Right.
based on something that's not even, could possibly not be factual, and
Right.
definitely doesn't affect you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that just media, period, every day is something new. I don't think it's one thing that's distracting us, but yesterday it's Kanye. Yesterday it was Melania with that interview. Then it's Kanye going to the White House. Then it's, you know, like, it's every day is something new. Then
It
it's
really
Kim's
is.
naked Chanel
I mean,
swimsuit.
She always
You know, it's like
that.
every day is something new to, you know, get us to not focus on what we should be focusing on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's like, and it's hard, you know, because we're millennials, so it's like we actively try not to take our salaries and wages and buy material things.
But it's hard.
But it's hard,
like
and
looking
money
fresh.
comes and goes, and it's like you don't leave with your money, so it's like, yeah, you know what?
exactly.
But we live in California where the rent is astronomical, so where it's like to even get a house, you need to have at least $20,000,
And then
that's not
that
to pay for
isn't
the house.
even
That's just for the
enough.
down payment and closing costs, and you're paying a monthly payment of about like $3,000 a month, you know,
Hell no.
for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, so it's like we have to think about things like that on top of trying to keep up with the Joneses, or at this point, keep up with the Kardashians. Because they clearly get everything before everyone else, you know. So I see how it even distracts us too. But that's kind of why we have this podcast, to kind of show people like we fall into that stuff too, but we also did a lot of things that people from our high school didn't do, which was like go to college, like, and you know,
And
like,
then just lead our lives differently and handle our
Yeah.
money differently. I feel like people
Yeah.
that we went to high school with, and even some people we went to college with, like, they just don't handle their money the same way that we handle ours. Like,
right.
I
It's
would
more
like to have a
material.
Gucci bag. I
Right.
would like to have my Gucci watch and like my Louis and all that shit, but I'm not gonna go out and buy a Louis bag that's $3,000
When I can put
when
that in the
When it
house.
ain't
Yeah.
$3,000 inside of it.
Right.
exactly, like you you have this nice ass bag and no money in it, or you have this nice ass car and you're taking all these flicks for the gram to show off for people.
But you're paying $800, $900 a month, knowing that the credit company just ripped you off, because if you're paying $800, $900, you got played.
And savings account on zero.
Or your credit score is messed up, you know, like it's all these things that really, and these, because we're millennials, we literally are watching people we know, people we don't know, everyone around us, everyone our age doing that, you know, so it's kind of hard to watch and be like, you know, you don't need to do that. And we've been able to help a few people and be like, you know, don't do that. Or, you know,
if they're a friend, because I just can't go out giving people unsolicited advice, because they're not going to listen. Like, you know, and nobody listens to advice already, but if you go out and give unsolicited advice, they're not going to hear you. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Little things like credit scores, and people don't know like credit inquiries and how that just knocks your credit every time. And like you have to go a certain amount of time without an inquiry for it to, you know, not affect your credit anymore. Things like, I just had a conversation with my friends about this, because I'm like, she wants a certain thing. I'm like, okay, these are the steps you need to take to do that.
And those are the conversations that we have to be having.
Yeah.
But it's boring to some people.
It is.
It's boring.
It's not for them.
It's not for them.
And it's like, that's sad.
And when they're ready, they'll come back around.
That's really how it is.
That is how it is.
You have to only give that advice to people who are willing to listen to that advice.
Yeah. Or you're wasting your time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the last thing I need to do.
And all you really can do is lead by example, because sometimes it takes just like, I noticed when both of us graduated, it took us graduating for people to be like, oh, so this is possible.
Right.
You know, you are able to finish. You are able to work and go to school at the same time, you know, because people also don't understand that. Or you are able to afford education. Obviously, I have student loans, of course, but it's like they allowed me to get through college. I finished, you know, and now I'm done, you know. So it's like, you know, and some people, I've had friends who told me like, oh, I didn't know someone racked up only $7,000 in student loans and dropped out because they hit 7, because they didn't realize that 7 in the long run of your life is not a lot, but they didn't have that around them to tell them that. So I don't blame that at all. They didn't have that support. The parents never went to college. You know, they didn't have anyone around them to tell them. $7,000, people beg for $7,000 of student loans. Like the fact that you're going to finish under 10, you know, like that is beautiful.
That's amazing.
You know, like, but they just look at 7,000. Oh my God. And you're 18, so you're broke.
And they're like, I don't have it.
Right. I don't have it. But it's like, you also have to have the confidence to say like, I'm doing this career path, and not just ignorance, but like true confidence because of your work ethic to say, that's how I am. I'm going to be able to pay this back in this amount of time because my profession does this. Exactly. And I plan to work this hard for this long. I mean, at this point, we're trying to open our own business because having a boss is just...
I can't do it. I can't be on somebody else's schedule, especially when it's like a surgeon's schedule. Can't do it.
Yeah, because her surgeons cancel surgeries all the time, you know?
Yep, and I'll be there waiting like for 5 hours sometimes, canceled.
Oh my
That's
God.
the days that I'm livid, because it's like you couldn't decide this any other time, but right now after I wasted 5 hours of my precious time and I have homework, like, no.
9 to 5s aren't the business, because we've looked in the research, you know, 9 to 5 is not a productive way to work. Also, they said it said a work day should be about like 5 or 6 hours somewhere.
You're more productive that way.
You're more productive, like, and there are other things.
After a certain number of hours, you're just no good to anybody anywhere.
Yeah, right. And I remember my last job, like, I was sitting around for hours, but you just have to be there from 9 to 5. But it's like, I'm sitting here and you guys actually don't need to be paying me right now because my work is done. I should go home right now. I'm going to sit here and you pay me, and I'm going to be tired because I stayed at work longer and I could have went to sleep.
Wasting all of our time.
Need to go to the gym and go do homework.
I haven't worked out in like a
things.
month. That's bad.
Yeah, it's the gym is like... The gym is fun sometimes, and that's the thing that sucks about it. It's fun sometimes. It's not 100% of the time. So
that's where I go to meditate.
Yeah,
that's literally because I can't think of anything else when I'm lifting weights.
Lifting is meditation.
Yeah,
I love lifting. Okay, so there's one thing that we heard about Atlanta that we have to ask you about this.
Okay,
these are just things about Atlanta, rumors.
My sister was talking to me about it. So my sister texted me yesterday, and she told me that like you guys' HIV/AIDS infection rate is like at 82%. Like at least 82% of the population has it. And I'm just like, sis, how?
That doesn't sound correct.
I think that those numbers are definitely inflated.
Okay.
I mean, I hope.
I would hope.
Yeah, we hope too.
But yeah, it's up there. I mean, I definitely know that it's up there, but it definitely has to do with the number of homosexual men that we have that are like teetering, you know, that are like on the fence,
down low, right?
Yeah, and
or like
I don't even know. I feel like it's some crazy stuff going on out here. Like they might not even be on the down low. I feel like it's this whole other culture of not necessarily on the down low, but just like
It's just
not
LGBTQ.
identifying.
Yeah.
It's not identifying themselves, not boxing themselves in, and women maybe being okay with that. I don't know. But I think it's definitely scary. So caution is everything. Making smart choices, being selective. Yeah, all of those things. Atlanta is not the city to play those games. So
apparently, like nowhere is anymore. Like, because there's like super gonorrhea. There's becoming like antibiotic resistant HIV, like STDs and STIs. Like the antibiotics cannot treat them anymore.
In our area, in the Inland Empire, they actually saw a study that said like, because you know how there was a study in general that said these dating apps, Tinder, and all of them have increased the infection rate. Just in general, all the
I know
infections.
Grindr has.
Oh, man,
all that is like a hoe box. No offense to people, like
that's how all the apps are now.
And like people literally like on there, they define themselves by like their body and their body types,
like a sex app.
and then say what they're looking for. That's it.
Ew.
Yeah.
But in the Inland Empire, because we're born in Fontana, North Fontana. I'm gonna start calling it North Fontana.
If you live in South Fontana, like, oh, you live in the hood.
Yeah,
like,
because it gets from really decent and homely to very ghetto really quick. So when you tell people I'm from Fontana, they're like, oh,
yes.
And I'm like, North Fontana. They're like, oh,
okay.
You know, so I'm like, I'm just gonna start saying that because I guess there's a distinction, but we were born there, so we call it Fontana. So we're from that area, and in the Inland Empire, the syphilis and gonorrhea rate has gone up by like 200%. And they said a lot of it has to yes. And they said it had a lot to do with these dating apps, like people meeting up, strangers meeting up.
Yeah.
It's like people really don't believe in condoms, and that's why I'm like,
people really don't believe in condoms. If you
really don't believe in condoms, we really need to like be moving forward to alternatives so we could protect people instead of just like being like, oh, well, we can treat you, because it's getting to the point like they can't treat anybody anymore. So it's like we need an alternative.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And abstinence ain't it, because people not gonna do that.
that.
That's not where it's at.
People didn't even do abstinence when Jesus was Lord in person.
Yeah.
Like that shit ain't.
It's gonna happen now in 2018.
Yeah, definitely not. Unrealistic expectations.
Oh yeah. I remember the post that she had about college degrees.
Yeah.
I wrote that down.
I was supposed to talk to you about that earlier when we were referring to
right.
just how we're in a different level than other individuals. Like, how did you turn your education career around, and how did you figure out it wasn't it? Like, because I know that realization had to happen.
So I would have to say that I felt like it wasn't it. But it wasn't until like I was forced to really reevaluate things that I realized that there were other options out there. So I was a classroom teacher. I taught 2nd and 3rd grade, ended up getting engaged. It was an abusive relationship, cut it off. And when I ended the engagement, I literally was just trying to like leave town. I was trying to get away, and I had given up my teaching degree here to go teach in Abu Dhabi. Ended up not going to Abu Dhabi because I was going for the wrong reasons, and then that kind of forced me to figure out what I was going to do. That gave me the free time, you know, to figure out what do you really want to do, because I knew teaching was not it.
Yeah. Sorry, what was your degree in?
Education.
Okay.
Yeah. So I taught elementary. And so literally within that transition, got my bartending license. That is what sustained me while I figured, you know, just figured it out, and it was so disheartening to become a bartender. And even before I was a bartender, I was a waitress, and I was literally waitressing 4 nights a week, making more than I was making teaching teaching full time. As, you know, a full-time salaried degreed 2 degrees. I have a master's degree, you know, 2 degrees in making more as a waitress. And so that's literally kind of the transition, but I still am utilizing my education degree because I'm still doing coaching, I'm still doing consulting, I'm still teaching classes, but now they're, you know, for entrepreneurs versus elementary students.
Something more interesting, something more in line with what you want to do.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we do too. Like, Nina and I make our degrees work for whatever the situation is.
and to get a house.
Right.
You know, so I want to be able to pay for my stuff by myself. And then if a man comes in, we're just going to get a bigger
You're
house.
good.
You know, like, or we're just going to split this rent because the houses we're looking at, I was like, I could live here by myself.
Yeah.
But it's like 3 stories and costs way too much money.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like you said, disheartening. It's disheartening that going into something that requires a high school diploma pays more than what you just spent all the student loans on to get
that you can't even pay back.
Yep, that you can't even pay back.
It's this discrepancy, and that actually ties into the job opportunities out here, because me and Ashley have looked into Houston and Atlanta. Are there more? Do you think there's more job opportunities in Atlanta?
I'm so far removed, honestly. Like, I have not applied for a job since college. You know, I got my teaching job right out of college. So I have literally not, thank God. Let me just say that. That is a blessing. When I said it, I realized it. I like heard myself saying
That's
it.
a look at
That's
God.
a long, like,
That is a look at God. Yes,
Yeah.
but I haven't. Like, I can't even speak to what that even looks like. But I hear that the opportunities are plentiful. Like, there's so many people moving in and out of Atlanta. And based on the amount of apartments that are going up every single day, so many people are moving here. They have to be moving for something. I know that, like, the entertainment industry is huge
Black
here.
Hollywood.
So, so there's definitely opportunities, you know, in media and different things like that. But I would say Atlanta is a huge launching board for entrepreneurship. If you can't start it here in Atlanta, you just shouldn't start it. Yeah, like if you can't make it here, you probably can't make it because the cost of living is not there yet. It's climbing. Like, it's definitely not what it was when I moved here, you know, 11 years ago, but it's definitely climbing, but it's not there yet. So you can still, you know, nickel and dime your way to make up your rent versus LA, where it's like you might be in your car. Like, you're one bad decision away from losing it all.
You
and
have
I
to have
literally
roommates.
Exactly.
Everywhere you
have to have a roommate. Exactly. So it's a different thing here in Atlanta, but I definitely feel like it's a more entrepreneurial city than, you know, 9 to 5. Like, people here, people always like, people in Atlanta don't work. Like, you can definitely not have a real job.
So much traffic.
Really, that's why it's so much traffic all day long. You can definitely not have a quote unquote real job and make it work.
Right.
You can
That's
make it
what I'm
work.
trying to do.
Because, okay, so I have my bachelor's in biochemistry, and she has her bachelor's in neuroscience, and I have my master's in finance, and she's about to have her master's in computer science. And I'm like, we just need to, like, that's why we're just trying to start our own business. But you know what the roadblock is? Rent prices. Because California, to get a good spot, like the place I got an email about yesterday, it was $6,000 a month just to get, like, I think it was 3,000 square feet, so $20 a square foot.
Yeah.
And it was
That's
like,
pretty big.
or $2 square foot. Sorry, $2 square foot. So $6,000 a month. And it's like, you can come out here and probably get that same space. What are the rent prices like out here? So if it was like a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment, what is that?
Probably 1,500.
Okay.
Nice one.
Yeah, it's like
That's
$2,000.
Riverside.
Yeah.
Riverside is like 15, but it's Riverside, you know. Have you ever been to Riverside? Okay. It's
You might have drove through it, because if you landed in
Coachella.
LAX, you probably drove through it to get to Coachella. It's nothing.
The only reason I say Riverside is people who aren't from California, the only places they really know is like LA. Some know Riverside, and people know Rancho Cucamonga from Friday.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, do you know this area? Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah.
But
So 1,500 on the well, that's probably medium. That's probably median, like, for a 1-bedroom, I would say.
Where do black people live? Buckhead? Because we're in perimeter.
Black people live everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere but where we at.
Everywhere but where y'all are at. Like, it's probably no black people in perimeter, but
There aren't.
yeah,
Except for the
Midtown,
front
downtown, this area definitely.
Where are we?
I want to say this is like East Atlanta. I don't know what the specific part is, but this is East Atlanta.
Okay.
It's black people everywhere. Y'all literally have just been in like the two
Okay, we'll find we'll do that.
Don't
tonight.
make this like a little California experience. Y'all
No,
have to get the true. But if y'all are going to Onyx, y'all will definitely.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
And we're going to some of these places that you listed for us too, because tonight we're just gonna
hang out,
do a lot,
and then we're here tomorrow. Afropunk. We're gonna go out before Afropunk. We're gonna go to Trap Museum tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Afropunk,
yeah, that'll be cool.
And then go out after. Same with what do people do on Sunday nights? Because I know people do party on some Sundays.
You know what? What we used to do, I feel like I tried to do it and it was shut down, so I don't even know. I don't know. But they have this cool thing called the bonfire that they do on Sundays. It's like a Afro punk-ish. But y'all might be over that vibe. But it's kind of like that. It's called the ATL bonfire. I think that's their Instagram. I don't know what's popping on Sundays because the clubs in Atlanta aren't open. Fulton County isn't open on Sundays.
Okay.
So it used to be things like on the outskirts, but last I checked, they were shut down. So I don't know.
Whenever I hear Fulton County, because I watch
Think
all
about
of those
the
prison
jail.
shows.
Yeah, Fulton
and
County
they
jail.
always have Fulton
County
County.
jail. Yeah.
Them badass kids.
Yeah.
They
That
always
was like
got Fulton
immediately
County.
my first thought.
That
as
is funny.
well.
The jail.
Yeah, I always think at every prison show they come to Atlanta.
That's us.
I mean, we have a lot of prisons too. Like my brother lives in Chino, and there are 3 prisons. Well, not prisons, jails down the street from where he lives. Like there's a youth
prisons.
one, a women's one, and then a men's jail, all within like 3 miles of one another.
What city did you say this
Chino.
is? Oh, okay.
Right
oh,
by
yeah.
the Chino airport.
Yep, definitely.
And you
saw
think, why would they put a prison by an airport? But there's literally 3.
I've definitely
That's
seen it.
crazy.
We live in the valley, so there's a lot of like just spread
Random
out
shit.
random areas where they can easily just place a prison, and then these private prisons being
Yeah.
owned by people. BTW, by the way. How is it with black men dating light-skinned women out here? Because in California, that's all they
you
date.
see.
Wait, how is it? Are you saying is it like a lot of colorism out here? Like black men don't
Yeah,
like
like,
dark
don't
skinned
like-
women?
yeah.
Are there black men actively going after dark-skinned women, or is it the same thing like California?
Okay,
where
well,
you see-
obviously I don't really
Yeah, you
know.
don't know my real life.
I don't know. I mean, I don't hear that a lot. I don't hear that personally, but I think we all are struggling in Atlanta because of the numbers. Like, there's literally like a million. It's like 26 women to 1 man or something
Oh,
stupid.
shit. I
didn't even
It's
know
something
that.
ridiculous. So I feel like the men are dating everybody. They
Yeah.
are dating everything. I don't
Makes
think
sense.
that they don't have those standards. I don't think they care about. Seriously, I feel like men are just dating women, period. All of
That's
them.
really it.
All of them.
They're
It's
dating all
open
of them.
season. Yeah, it's open season out here.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's the older I get, the more I understand why. Like, because I never understood people not wanting to get married. I never understood why. Like, I didn't understand a lot of things about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But when I get older, I'm just like, there's a lot of like, lack of better words, hoe ass niggas out there, and there's a lot of like, there's a lot of things that it makes it very hard to date because there's a lot of people playing games. And now I'm meeting men who are like, there's too many women playing games. So it just seems like everybody's playing games.
Everybody's playing games. No matter how old you are, everybody's playing games.
That's
Well,
just so stupid.
Makes me tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm not into this. I don't
At
want
all.
to do it. Like, she's off the market, so
Yep.
she doesn't really have to worry about these things.
Nope.
And I'm glad I never like settled down with any of the people I dated in my
Yeah,
past.
don't.
So now I'm just like, with what we have left, And I was telling her today, I've noticed, dark-skinned men date light-skinned women in California. I want to be specific because I don't know how it is everywhere else. And now I'm noticing, because I'm considered dark-skinned, even though it's like we're brown.
Mm-hmm.
We're not dark-skinned, but we're brown. But like, I've dated a lot of light-skinned men, and I'm not even into light-skinned men, but it's just like, I'm just noticing.
You're noticing
that.
it, yeah.
A lot of my exes, everyone that I date, I'm like, they're light-skinned.
All of my exes were light skinned, and I felt like dark skinned men didn't want me. But my man now is dark skinned, so
Oh,
I
good
feel
for
like
you.
I've won.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes,
You got the
I got
ladder.
them. Yes,
I know the last
At
one.
the end, yes.
She thinks I'm gonna end up with a white man.
I do. They like her. I'm sorry, but they like
Move.
her.
Move.
Yeah.
know.
They
don't.
all the time when we go out, they come up to her.
No, we need
don't know what
black
they want
women
from
loving
me.
black men.
We do.
Having beautiful black babies
I
that love
want a chocolate
themselves.
little nugget.
Me too, but I don't think it's
Yes.
gonna happen for me.
Make it happen.
Your baby's gonna be like maybe my color.
Oh, chocolate. I just
I
mean
hope.
black. It don't have to be chocolate, just black. Just
No,
black.
I want mine to be chocolate. Sadly,
It's not
I'm
gonna
like, I
happen.
need. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
I'm like, you'll come out my color, probably the darkest.
Maybe. You never know.
I know.
I
Pull
know.
from
Maybe
the
you'll,
ancestors.
maybe you'll get from your dad. Your dad's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If one of your parents, because my best friend, she's brown and her
Mhm.
husband is dark, and their little baby is like lighter than me.
See?
Like
That's what
could
I'm
be my
saying.
little baby.
It happens because her dad.
But
is
her
dark.
mom is lighter.
Okay, my
So-
mom's lighter than me.
Yeah, but your dad, if
He's dark. Yeah.
So you
But
never
your
know.
Grandma is lighter
My
than your
grandma
mom.
white as shit. She looks like a white woman.
My grandpa is light, like your grandma.
Yeah.
Like super light, and I didn't get none of that.
Slavery.
None of
That
these
is
got
funny.
Have you ever gone on they have plantation tours down here? Have you ever gone on one?
Girl, no.
Okay,
And
I don't
never
know. I'm
would.
curious because
No.
I know some black people that
No.
do, and I'm just
I
like, how
don't
do you
want
do
to.
that?
We did a family reunion in Mississippi last year, and like some people wanted to do that, and I'm like, there's no
For
way.
why?
I don't even want to step foot. I don't want any of the energy that
Yeah.
you know. Like I don't
Yeah.
even.
and all those sad spirits.
And whoever is
Exactly.
here leading this tour, I'm gonna be side eyeing them. I don't, because why do you have this job?
Yeah. Like, why did you want
Why
to
did
do
you want
this?
to do this? Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't even know why they're still a thing.
Why are you engulfed in this story, this history, this? No.
So, you said you basically kind of still use your degree because you teach.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what exactly? I know you teach entrepreneurship, but what exactly do you teach?
So I do master classes every so often on different entrepreneurial topics, but monetization and marketing are like my thing. I really love being able to help millennial entrepreneurs with monetization strategies. So a lot of my clients are business owners, but they're not making consistent income, or they want to increase their streams of income. They want to, be able to make money in more ways doing the same things that they're doing, basically. So that's what I feel like is like my gift. I did an interview a couple of days ago and somebody asked me like my superpower, and I feel like my creativity is that. If you tell me this is my business, I can tell you 10 different ways that you can further monetize whatever you're already doing. So teaching classes surrounded by those topics. I do a group program called New Stream School, and it's literally walking people through taking their idea and turning it into income. So, step 1 through 6, it's a 6-step process. But it's crazy to me. Like, I did the numbers on this last time I did New Stream School, and I think I ended up making like, I don't know, a little under $28,000 for this program, 3-month program. Wow. $27,000 versus the $32,000 that I was making for 12 months of full-time work. And it's just, and I was doing this from my house, like this was online. It was an online 3-month program, 1 day a week, probably an hour of my time. And it just, as exciting and amazing as that is, it's just so effed up.
It's a scam.
It's such a scam that people are out here. Like, I cannot imagine. I did the numbers. My boyfriend asked me one day, like, what did that equal per day? Like, what were you making per day? And it was like, I don't know, 75, 78, something stupid per day. Yeah. And I'm making that per 30 minutes, now. It's just like, that is, and I could not have imagined that this was even possible back then. So that is why it's so important for me to not brag about what I'm able to do, but show people that it's possible, that you don't have to do what everybody says that you have to do in order to be quote unquote successful. Right. Because that has a ceiling. That, success, that idea of success definitely has a ceiling. There was no way I could make $1 over what the school district said I deserved. It didn't matter what I did, what I brought to the table, what time I clocked out, how early I got there, how, over and above I went for my kids. I was still going to make that same amount to the penny. That is so crazy. So to be able to just offer different opportunities, because so many people feel like if I don't get that degree, I'm not going to be shit. Or if I don't finish, I can't be successful. Or if I don't take this job, I'm not going to be happy. And there's so many other ways. There's a million roads to get to whatever you feel like is success.
That's cool.
And I think that's what my parents are promoting to my nephews. They're like, no, you need to go to school and you need to do this, that, and the other. I'm like, you guys, like, I get that, like, that's how, like, you guys want, like, that's what y'all want us to do, but that's not exactly the route that everybody needs to take to be successful.
The only thing I feel is a bachelor's degree is a good backup. I always call them
It
backup
is a good
plans.
backup plan.
Every degree to me is a backup plan. That's all degrees are.
Unless
to me.
You become an engineer right away, it's not your backup
or
plan.
Unless you are really passionate about that degree, then it's your first plan. But if you're not, I don't know anyone who's like, oh my God, I do know people like that, but I don't know a lot of people who are like, oh my God, I'm passionate about biochemistry. Yeah, no. It's like, no, I just needed this degree so I can go to med school, or I just need this degree so I can work in a laboratory doing something, making makeup.
Or I got this degree so I could make a lot of money. Period. And then people don't even realize, like, when you have a bachelor, sometimes it doesn't even equate to the job. At least the level of the job that you looked up on Google, and it said you're going to make $150K.
Right. You will one day.
But not today, fam.
If you work on this for 20 years, like biochemistry in 20 years probably pays 150, 120 or something like that.
Right.
But it's like,
and you probably need a PhD for that. And then the amount of debt that you acquired during that time is going to be the same amount as your salary.
Biochemistry right out the gate is like $40,000 to $45,000 a year, which is stupid. That was the hardest fucking degree. For you to pay that little, it's like, wow, okay, That just shows that you waste your time. I used to think I wanted to be a doctor until I worked in a hospital, and I was like, I definitely don't want to be a doctor.
Nope.
Like,
and I had to be sure. I got another job in a hospital. I've been there for 2.5 years. And I'm like, I should have never became a surgeon. This is not for me.
Hates her job.
Yes.
It's like,
strong.
Happy for the money. Like, thank God.
Yeah, I could pay
money.
my bills, help my parents, but
however,
I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when people always tell me, like, oh, well, you make a lot of money, this, that, and the other, I'm like, yeah, but am I happy? No.
It's not worth it.
So, and that's why, like, I try and reinforce to people, like, just because you see a dollar amount on something does not mean you're going to be happy.
It's worth it,
your bills will be paid and you'll be a little less stressed, but you take
You'll be stressing about other things.
Exactly.
You're stressing about having to wake up and go to the hellhole.
Yeah.
It's like, we always say on our podcast, so we're thankful that we're in a position to where it's like bills and stuff, like we just don't have to worry about it because we've been able to save. We're able to take ourselves out of poverty because we used to be really broke. And it's like, we saved ourselves. We were able to get our credit score up. But it's like, dang, I really don't like what I'm doing. You know, like, and I actually I remember I was on the phone with her one time on my lunch break at my job, and I was like, I just feel like I'm wandering around. Like, I feel like I don't belong here. Like, I'm looking up at the sky like, God, why am I here? Like,
and I'm starting to get tired of, like, the people I have to interact with.
Yeah.
Like,
all of that.
This is tiring.
Everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
So tiring.
The one thing that I always try to do is when I'm not happy in a situation, I thank God. Like,
I'm
like,
unhappy,
thank you, I'm sad, and I'm like, let me thank you for the stuff you've done, because now I seem ungrateful. Even though in the bigger scheme of things, he's laughing like, how you don't know.
Right.
Like, you're about to get that good job in about 5 months, and you're sitting here crying, you know. So it's like, let me just thank you, because I know that it's going to be good.
Exactly.
And you have to remember how miserable you were before that point, because it was like, there was a point worse than this, and I thought this was like as bad as things were gonna get. And it's like, well, this one I can handle, because I know next year I'm gonna be like, you know what? What was you crying for?
I was tripping. Yeah, definitely had those moments many of times. And I was just telling her, I believe Shade Room posted a video of Travis Scott back in 2013, and he's like at a small music festival on the stage. There's only 30 people watching him. Like, there's nobody watching him. It's just 30 people, and he's just like rocking out. You know, nobody knows him, and then it shows him in 2018 with a
crazy
whole stadium. You know, and just loudness, and it's like, see, 5 years.
What can happen? You know, that's not even.
That's not long. That's a blink.
Nothing.
When you're an adult, you realize 5 years is not a long time at all.
Yeah.
And like, as a child and growing up and just being younger, you're such in a rush to do things. You think that a year is a long time. And it's like, a year passes and years just like, well, damn, it's about to be 2019. It's really about to be here. You know? And I'm trying to think like how far I've come this year, and I was like, I bet you got 2 raises this year. You playing? Like, you better be grateful.
You know?
Exactly.
And we both started school. I finished school
and I'm gonna be done real quick.
Like that.
Yes.
So
shout out accelerated programs.
We should do a
Look at God.
Yeah.
I remembered mine from last week. So we do a Look at God ICU universe, and you just mentioned something that you're grateful for. We added the ICU universe for people that don't believe in God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to go?
You could go, or I could go first if you want.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So mine was, I got an email and my credit score went up.
Hello.
And that's exactly what I need right now. Oh, and then look at God. I was going to say this a long time ago, and I didn't, because I know people be hating, but my car is also paid off.
Oh, nice.
So that's a beautiful thing.
You said people be hating.
Yeah. They be like, man, this bitch, her car paid off.
Yeah.
Like, well,
no, and it happened a long time ago, but she didn't say anything. And I'm just like, I'm like, yeah.
It's so, like, I am saving so much money because since I wanted my car to be paid off, I was paying $400 every check that I got. So every time I got paid, I would put $400 on my car, because I was like, I'm trying to be done with this. And so then fortunately my parents, like, they were like, oh, well, we need you to do something for us, and in return we'll pay your car off. So they paid off the remainder of my car, and then we good. We Gucci.
You in there.
Life is good. And I'm like, nope, my car is still it's still no, but the good thing is she influenced me, because like I know your payments were like 200 something and you're paying 400 a month or everything.
Yeah, I always paid extra.
And mine is also under 400. And she influenced me to just pay $400 a month, just pay it, because and when I see the balance left on my car, like, I am utterly shocked.
Exactly. And then
I'm
sometimes
like,
when you're short, like, because you never know, life happens when you're an adult a lot. So like when you're short some months, you can pay a lower balance than what you were even supposed to pay.
Right. True. Yeah. And since I leased for 3 years and then you have to like finance over it, my payments are going to end early, so instead of
you'll just be driving.
Yeah. So there's going to be like a 4-6 month period where I don't have to pay for my car. And I'm like, that's going to help when it comes to, needing to save for other stuff. I mean, I guess that's a good look at God. I guess my look at God, since I don't have anything too crazy going on, is, oh my God, we're in Atlanta, and I'm so happy to be here because, you know, this is Black. You know, it's very, I know we're not a Black area, but this is Black, and California isn't, and my educational experience was not. My undergrad was 2.3% Black out of 30,000 people, and my grad school was definitely less than
It was
that.
like 1%.
I was the only Black person in every class my entire graduate career, and everybody was from China, so it was a very weird position to be in. Like, I'm sure they were pissed when they saw me. Like, damn, I wish my class was all Chinese people.
That's
because
funny. We
Chinese
could say
people,
other things.
Yeah, and they don't talk. They don't speak your language, so they just talk shit to each other. So it's like Chinese people don't talk, so the class goes through. They'll get disowned if they have bad grades. You know, like all these things, and they're probably like, oh, Black girl in the class, you know, asking questions, you know, but I'm like, I have to be Black, you know.
Can't help it, sorry.
Yeah, that's why I switched over to dreadlocks. I was like, I'm just going to leave these goddess locks in for like 2 years and just be very Black. And anyone who don't like it, suck it. Yeah. But yeah, Atlanta's been, it is beautiful here, and looking forward to Houston also, but just very much enjoying Atlanta. And I'm like, I was telling Ashley, I was like, I'm just going to move here, and that's it.
I love it. All right, so my look at God. Today I saw the first draft of my new magazine that I'm super excited. It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
It's being released this year at Work Price Slay in just a couple weeks. So super excited. But seeing the draft made it like really real. So
oh my gosh,
it's coming soon. I'm excited. Yes, you have to.
And what's the name of your book? Because you said you were an author also.
Yeah, so Work 101, Get Your Life Together Guide is the first one, and then Confessions of a Workaholic is number 2. Yeah.
Okay, 2 times.
Yes.
Okay.
Check it out. Koereyelle.com. Grab a copy.
Yes. Okay, so this is a good time to wrap up, and we'll have you say your social media again after the end of our handles. So once again, guys, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, search Young and Getting It Podcast. There's no G at the end of Getting. Please subscribe, rate, and review. We love that. Also, we're on SoundCloud.com/WERKaholics. Please follow us on there or comment. We love talking to y'all. We're also on YouTube.com. Just search Young and Getting It Podcast with no G at the end of Getting. Please subscribe, comment, watch our videos on there. We're also on Google Play, Stitcher, and Pocket Casts.
And you could also find us on Twitter and Instagram at YAGI_podcast. We have our website, www.weareYAGIP.com. And then we also have 2 forms of communication outside of our Instagram, which is our email, ashleyandninapod@gmail.com. And we also have our Google Voice number, which is 486-3811. I remembered it, but almost messed up. Yep, 323-486-3811, because people actually listen, because we had it wrong for a while.
Yeah, we did.
And I am Koereyelle, at Koereyelle on all social media, and Koereyelle.com online.
Okay, and name your books again so they can go get them.
So Work 101, Get Your Life Together Guide, Confessions of a Workaholic, and then you can definitely log on to WorkPraySlay.com to join me here in Atlanta for Work Pray Slay weekend.
Yay! And when that magazine comes out, we'll let y'all know. She'll
Thank
be our commercial for the
you.
week.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you.
Thank you for
joining
having
us
me.
on
This
the
was
podcast.
fun.
It was so fun. Nice meeting you also. And we're out.
Good.
Peace.